We hug it out.
We do a lot of high fives, though.
Shannon is a hugger. And a good one. It's good to have you guys in here.
Thank you.
All right, so there's a lot we can talk about with you, obviously, but I know specifically today, it's 2014. A lot of people have seen prices go up in value, which is a good thing, but that gives you a lot of opportunity now. You have people that were underwater. You have a lot of people that were underwater, now have equity, so now what do they do? You have people that have seen this spike in equity. Can you reposition it? Can you buy a bigger house now? So you're helping people move up, sell, relocate. But I know that you guys really wanted to focus today on the top 5 things you need to know when you are selling your home to get the most value. Because there's 1,000 things you can do. Some of them are fluff. They don't really do anything for you. So you wanted to identify 5 things, right?
Yeah, and basically the 5 things, you always hear consistently, you need to price your home right, you need these certain things, but it's some of the items that you don't necessarily hear talked about all the time.
Yeah.
Like one of the first things we talked about, or wanted to talk about, was you always hear you need to declutter your home. Well, it's not just decluttering your home. Well, yes, we've had that conversation.
Personally, I'm not selling the home, but I felt a direct attack. Right.
Yeah. No, but it's not just decluttering your home as far as what you can see when you walk in, but it's decluttering what you can't see. A lot of the time what we have is people will, okay, we need to declutter, let's cram everything in the closets. Well, when buyers are coming through the home, they want to see the storage space in a home. So they're going to open a cabinet, they're going to open a closet, whether you like.
So what do you do with the stuff?
Get a storage unit.
Storage unit,
so you
absolutely.
actually take time and move this stuff out.
Get it into the garage, do something, but don't just cram the closet so full that when somebody opens a closet or a cabinet, everything comes tumbling out. Because it gives the illusion there's no space there in the
and
home.
buyers are a lot more nosier than we think they are. And we've been to so many houses that you open up the closet and personal stuff falls out, shoes and things you don't need to do.
Some good stories.
We do. We've seen a lot.
Some probably not for this TV.
You actually
That's Saturday
a story
morning
on the radio show not too long ago that it's absolutely hilarious. It's a great reason to go online and listen to some of our past shows, find some that these guys have been on. What are some other things people can do?
We always say take the home out of the home. Basically what that means is you got to depersonalize it. Take down the family photos. Take down anything as far as your trophies, your memorabilia. You have your favorite sports team. Take some of those things down and make it more neutral.
See, I got to be honest with you. Declutter, to me, is kind of obvious.
Yeah.
When you say de-home, what is it?
Depersonalize or take the home out, yeah.
I would think that you wouldn't do that because I would think that maybe the personalization can maybe tug at the heartstrings a little bit. So why have you found that to be a good way for you guys selling
There's
homes?
a great story that happened in Canada recently. It's where a home buyer was going through a home and they were really interested in thinking about making an offer. As they were going through the home, they saw pictures on the wall. They saw a picture of the wall of the ex-husband with the new current girlfriend who was selling the home. Instantly turned her off from buying the home.
That's not good.
And that was a dead deal.
So that's one of those random ones. You don't expect that all the time. But it's just you need to make it more neutral so that when somebody walks in, they can see it as their home.
See,
so
but something like that, I would think, I always think about my parents who've lived in the house that I was raised in for 40, 50 years now. And they have a lot of pride in the home. So how would you sit down with somebody like that and say, look, we know you've put a lot of work into this home. We know you like these family pictures, but if you're moving, you need to take this stuff down. How do you even address that conversation? I'm sure you get a lot of pushback on that.
What we do is anytime we take a listing, we actually pay for it and we bring in a stager and a staging company.
That's a good takeaway. So you guys will actually pay for someone to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's not us just giving our opinion, but it's a professional. That's their job. That's their profession, is to stage a home and prepare it for sale. So we'll bring somebody in, it's a third party, and then we'll pay for that and have them come through the home and walk through with the seller and make the recommendations, whether it's just taking things down, decluttering, it's bringing in new furniture, moving furniture, but they give their opinion on it. So it's not just us with that. And,
well, yeah, and that would help a lot as well.
Yeah,
you can remove the emotion, have someone come in there and take it. All right, so you have 3 more. Number 3.
Third, kitchen. When we talk with sellers and like, well, we have some money that we want to put back into the home before we put it on in the market. Where should we put it? There's 2 places we always talk about. One is the kitchen. If you have the money and if you can actually update, do new cabinets, countertops, those type things, we always recommend with that. And from statistically, it says that 85% of the money that you put into a kitchen, you can recoup with it.
How much?
85%.
Up to
85% of you put in.
Yep. And now,
this is an important point to make. Sorry to interrupt you, Glenn, but even if you weren't selling your house, if you're going to do some home improvements, we just talked about equity growth, refinancing, maybe put some cash in your home. Keep in mind, you're going to make a home more enjoyable to live in while you're there. Yep. So I encourage people to look at connecting with you guys to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But you're saying that if you do that improvement, it is going to pretty much hold the value.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
What are some examples of things that you could put your money into that wouldn't hold as much value? I mean, where would you encourage people not to put some of that money?
We have a perfect example. We were with a seller this week, and he was showing us around the property, and he's showing us this patio light that he spent $3,000 on. That's not a wise investment.
Glenn and I looked up at that patio light, and there's no way.
I bet he was proud of it, though.
Oh, he was.
was.
And that was like a selling feature he saw of the home with that, and it's not a selling feature that most buyers will go in there and
Like
see.
I said, I bet they have some good stories.
Yeah.
How many homes did you guys sell last year?
109 listings that we closed last year.
I bet you got a lot of good stories that you could share. What's number 2?
Next one is, so we talked about reinvesting money back into the property. You said kitchen. Besides kitchen, it's your curb appeal, your first impression. And that's when we always talk, you've got to have a good first impression. When we're meeting with sellers that have been in a home for a while, first off, get somebody out, and we have people we work together with, get the home pressure washed. Blast the stucco, blast the dust, clean the cobwebs, do all those type things. Second would be the planters, the lawn, those type things, because when somebody pulls up to your home, the first thing they see is the front yard, the front door, the home, and that's their first impression of the home. If it looks dirty, if it looks torn up, if things are dying in the front yard, the impression right off the bat, you're starting on the wrong foot. So.
Let me give you an example here. So I'm going to sell my car, right?
Yep.
Got a friend that does this professionally. He buys and sells cars. I don't know how he does it. Makes a great living doing it. And I need to get my brakes redone. Just got an oil change. I needed to do that so the thing didn't explode. But need to get my brakes redone, a couple dents, and I was asking him, I was like, should I go put money into this before I sell it? Or should I not put the money into it and just sell it as is and create a reduction? In real estate, does it usually make sense to actually put some money into it before you go to sale, you think?
Absolutely, and it's finding the right sources of where to put that money.
Don't buy the light bulb.
No, don't buy the $3,000 white light fixture, because that's not going to be the best resource for your money with that. And check with a professional, and that's what Glenn and I do all the time. Is we come out to the property and go through what we would consider things that would increase value with it.
Makes
and give
sense.
you those tidbits
So
and
ask.
those tips. Yep,
Just
exactly.
don't guess. That's the big takeaway
Yeah.
here. You're going to have a lot of questions. Here's some answers. Just go directly to you guys and see if you can help. So, number 1.
Last
that was a
one?
drum roll.
So,
Yeah.
is lighting. The biggest thing when you walk into homes, you want it light, you want the bright, open feeling. So if you have dark curtains, anything else, usually take them down. You want to make sure if you expect showings or you go to work that day and people might be coming through, you want all the blinds on. If you're going to have evening showings, make sure you have ample light. A lot of the time we recommend put in a higher wattage bulb so that when the lights are on, you don't have a dim lit living room, which makes it feel smaller and not as homey. So lighting is a big part of it. So as far as your natural lighting during the day, making sure you're capturing as much as you can. Evening, nighttime showings, making sure the lighting's is.
And that's really the first impression when buyers walk into a property too, besides the curb appeal that Glenn had touched
feel.
upon. It's the feel upon it. And it has to do with the natural lighting and everything is. It's a feel of the property too, and that has a lot to do.
And you went with that for number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you guys put a lot of focus on that. You didn't sell 109 homes last year doing this stuff wrong.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you would go with lighting as number 1. What about other things like ambiance or music or anything like that? You do open houses. I mean, are those things important?
Oh yeah, when you do an open
Yeah.
house, there's those things that come into play, but those are some things that for a seller, you can't always control that you're going to have music on or certain things when another realtor's bringing somebody to your home to see it. If you have control of that, of course, but ambiance, the lighting, and those are some of the things that create that. You just need to make sure that you have those things that you can control, that they're available anytime somebody comes by with it.
These discussions, when do you tend to have them? Is it you're sitting down, you're thinking about listing your home? Are these pre-open house discussions? Because it seems like lighting is something you would decide right before. When you guys sit down with a potential seller, when does this come into the process? When do these questions start happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's once we have our initial consultation with the seller, basically we have quite a process as far as the different steps that we hit on, and we go through this whole process of making sure, and it's all the preparations that we make before the home goes onto the market. This is one of the consultations when we talk with them. Then we bring in this professional stager, and it's just a process that we go through, and it's our pre-marketing phase or pre-market phase, and getting all these things
Here's
ready.
an example of one of your guys' listings here, and so this is a home that you guys have actually prepped to sell. What are we looking at?
I mean, and this is a home, Ocean Beach. It was up above Sunset Cliffs. And like this, it's clean, it's simple. You don't see any personal items. You don't see
There's no clutter.
Does that belong, this furniture and all this stuff belong to the actual seller or is it staging?
A lot of this belonged to the seller, and there was some that was
Some
brought into a
staging.
stage
What
deal.
an awesome house.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous house.
So this is Ocean Beach?
Yes.
How's Ocean Beach doing?
Excellent.
Excellent.
So,
Ocean
yeah.
Beach, Point Loma.
Yep.
And Ocean Beach, Point Loma, they were one of the neighborhoods. We didn't see the big drops, and we haven't seen the huge jumps. They stayed a little bit more stable because they're established communities with it. But they're both doing great. We're seeing, especially with this year, across the board, as the new year hit, we're seeing showings picking back up, a lot more calls, people getting ready for the springtime listings.
Yep.
It's good. It's exciting to see the activity coming back into the marketplace.
Well, great information, you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to know these guys pretty well, and the one thing that's really cool about the Alliance Group is that they don't position themselves just as realtors, but they're actually a resource. It's in the name. They're a group where if you need a mortgage plan, an estate plan, a financial plan, everything that ties into getting a home and it being your biggest investment, all the things I was showing you on craigsewing.com, these are things they can help you with, and they can actually give you a free report at mysellerreport.com. Is that the right website for you guys?
Yeah.
They're going to be able to get free property valuation. Is that right?
With that one, it's actually for anyone that's considering selling, go on mysellerreports.com. We have a couple of different reports that they can download, kind of what we talked about today, getting your home prepared for market. Then also from there, they can contact us, and we'll be able to give the home evaluations on it too.
Very cool. Another free resource for you. Tune into the show today, mysellerreports.com. Go there today, get this free stuff. These are two high-level pros in the marketplace, and they can give you a lot of great information. So thanks, Glen and Shannon.
Yep.
All right, coming up, we're going to bring in Seth O'Byrne. Seth O'Byrne is going to talk to you about Cardiff by the Sea, and also a topic that hits home with me. He's going to feature the best dog beaches in San Diego. We have a special guest that's going to provide commentary. So I've learned. Coming up here in just a moment.